Welcome to Heaven Percent Podcast, a podcast dedicated to bringing heaven to earth. I'm Jimmy. Usually we got Alex with us. Today it's going to be just Jimmy, and we're friends. I'm friends with Alex, and we're honestly learning how to live from the heart, how to walk in the Spirit, with the Spirit, and then embody the heaven percentile of awareness and consciousness. It is just me sharing from the heart today, and I think that this one's really about what it really means to bring heaven to earth. I think Alex and I have really got to dive deep on that, and I'm thinking it as like not an idea or theology, but a lived experience on bringing heaven to earth and what heaven percent even means. And I want to invite reflection too for just everyone to think about and meditate on, really. If heaven percent represents wholeness, peace, and unity with God, with the superconscious, whatever you believe in, how do we embody that here? How do we embody that in our thoughts, in our work, in our relationships? Big opportunity. I think first point that I'll make is that heaven isn't a destination, rather it's a dimension that we get to access. So heaven isn't someday, it's a presence that's available right now when we align with God's heart. That's my belief. I think Jesus Christ is the love, the truth, the life, and the way, and I've learned so many things about the principles and teachings that he has brought into my life, and I feel like he is alive right here, right now. Now, beyond that, let's study what Jesus said, right? So Jesus said that the kingdom of heaven is within you. And I think that means that heaven starts inside. The mind, the emotions, the spirit that we get to choose, the spirit of love, not the spirit of fear. That's really where I wanted to transition to point 2, and that is that alignment creates atmosphere. And I have noticed that so fully. Like, the state that you carry creates the atmosphere around you. And yeah, I recently was with some family, and gosh dang, it just felt like everything was being picked apart. It's hard when you're doing your best to be your best, and you're wanting to connect with people, and then it's as if they are committed. They are committed to not connecting to themselves, number one, and then also to you. And is that a reflection on me? It must be, because if I want things to change, I have to change. And that's a big deal, because in these moments, if I look at it, it's like there's nothing that I did wrong. Yet if I check my beingness, it's like, man, I didn't meditate that day. I didn't pray I didn't pray. I didn't get my physical activity in. I didn't do any personal development, any journaling, all these things that change my beingness for the better. I didn't do any of those that day or the day before, and maybe even the day before that. And it's like, man, that makes sense that the state you carry creates the atmosphere around you. I attract what I am. And so I think a good example too is if you walk into a room full of chaos, but you stay grounded in peace, that right there is bringing heaven to earth. Because for me, I obviously didn't feel enough. I didn't feel wanted, valued, and that's what I attracted out of those other people. Now, there are going to be times when you continue to grow yourself and realize that sometimes you got to cut those types of people off, And so when I look at alignment, how can we do that? I think we could look at a morning routine, prayer, movement, moving your body, because motion is emotion, right? I think you could give silence, acquire solitude to help you tune into heaven's frequency. And I think that one of my favorite sayings is that heaven is not found through striving. Heaven is not found through striving, but through surrender. And that's so beautiful, because that was a huge word for me recently, because I was trying to control everything. And God's got it under control. I'm responsible for the action. God's responsible for the results. Can I get an amen? Heaven flows through the action. So it's one thing to think it and change the pictures in the mind and be. Well, now you got to do, right? Bringing heaven to earth isn't just feeling good, it's like living good. And I think that serving others, forgiveness is so huge, right? That's why I no longer choose to drink the poison. And I'm speaking truth and love. I think walking in purpose, finding out what your purpose is. Mine is loving God and loving others by being compassionate, abundant, exuberant, enthusiastic, loving, kind, wild example of the limitless possibilities that God has for us when we figure out what that life is all about. It's beautiful. There's been a lot of times where I've got to choose compassion or obedience, even when it was uncomfortable. That's how I opened the door for breakthrough for myself. And I still get to choose that every single day. There's still trials and tribulations and temptations and all these things that are going to be heavy and hard to choose what's right. Yet it's in those moments when we choose integrity. When we say what we're going to do and do what we said, that's a beautiful process. I want to encourage all of us to ask, like, what's one area of life where we can bring heaven's perspective today? Where we can chunk up and say, for what purpose? And see through God's eyes. Living heaven-minded in a world that pulls us down is a big opportunity. James 1:2-3, it says that we can consider it pure joy when we come across various trials and tribulations because the testing of our faith produces perseverance. And that perseverance allows us to be complete, lacking nothing. So seeing these struggles and these hard things as development. There's a lot of noise, there's a lot of comparison. The land of prettier, richer, stronger, like all that stuff. And it's like, man, don't be comparing yourself to other people or other situations. Look at your own and grow it. And I think that another challenge is the fear, right? The distractions. Get committed, get clear, and then things won't be so easy to take you away from it. And I think that one of my ways to realign is like prayer, community, and remembering who I am and whose I am, my identity in God, and that I'm made in His image. So what a beautiful process that I am a creator. And I think that I want to encourage everybody else too to just remember this, like when the world pulls you down, remind yourself, I'm not from here. I'm sent here. So say it personally, right? Like when the world pulls me down, I remind myself that I'm not from here. I'm sent here. That's a beautiful process. Amen. Yeah. I think the core truth too is like heaven isn't a faraway place. It's a presence that we unleash and release. The call to action is that this week, ask yourself every single day, what would heaven look like in this moment? And how can I embody it? And then a calm space that we could probably all go to right here, right now, is reflect and pray. And that we can all carry heaven into our next conversation, workout, decision, whatever it is. Merciful Lord, I want to say thank you. Thank you for Heaven Percent. Thank you for opportunity. Thank you for yawning. Thank you for getting me up at 5:30 this morning to embrace tasks that I know are necessary for my development, for the ability to reap joy, to unleash joy, to experience joy in the hard moments, and know that, Lord, you are with me. You are Emmanuel, God with us. It's amazing. No matter what, you're still there. Lord, I pray for everybody on this podcast, Lord, that we can all tap into more of really what we've been created to be. And Lord, if we're in a season where we want to go the opposite way, Lord, I pray that we learn well. I think that it's a complex situation. Yeah, when we stop fighting and we just choose to let go, we can let God. Praise you in the storm, Lord. Amen. Wow, fam. Keep love and joy in your hearts. I love y'all immensely. Thank you guys so much for joining me on a quick 15-minute podcast. I'm Jimmy. This is Heaven Percent. We're out. Over and out. Love you, Claire.